Now we will discuss verses 19 till 24, the last verses of chapter 16, the divine and the demoniac nature. So the result of, we will hear more details now about the result of demoniac activities. Krishna says, I will cast them into lower species and other types of hellish life. Because lust, anger, and greed, these are the three gates to hell, Krishna will say. That is the beginning of demoniac life, this lust, anger, greed. All sane men should give this up, that and faithfully follow the scriptures. So that's the ultimate difference. That will be the conclusion of this section. The divine, they follow the scriptures, and the demoniac, they don't follow, they act whimsically. So that is the ultimate conclusion at the end. We should always follow the scriptures. Now, verse 19. Dhammaham tvisita kuran samsare sunaradanam Shibrahmajasram asubhan asreve vajonisam. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. So, that is what Krishna says here. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, in this verse it is clearly indicated that the placing of a particular individual in a particular body is the prerogative of the Supreme Will. In the third canto, it is stated that an individual soul, after his death, that is put into the womb of a mother, where he gets a particular body under the supervision of superior power. As for the demoniac, it is clearly said here that they are perpetually put into the wombs of demons, and they continue to be envious, the lowest of mankind. Such demonic species of men are held to be always full of lust, always violent, hateful, and always unclean. Yes, who is responsible for our destiny? We are. That we are responsible for our destiny. But the demons don't believe in the scriptures, in reincarnation, and so on. That because they have little intelligence. So we are entering here this last section. Just a moment. Okay. So we are the beginning. So the result of performing demoniac activities is to be cast by Krishna in the lower species and other types of hellish life. Because lust, anger, and greed are the beginning of demonic life, all sane men should give them up. This is a summary of the whole section. They should give them up and understand their duty by faithfully following the scriptures. The ultimate difference between the divine and the demoniac is that the divine follow the scriptures, while the demons do not. So this is the verse 19. One may act according to his own whims, that should be whims, but the next birth will depend upon the decision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and not on himself. Demoniac persons take repeated births in families of demons. That we have Hiranyakasipu, Raven here. But yes, now there's a quote on 19 that demigods like Yamaraj and other controllers are there for the unwanted, conditioned souls who are always engaged in threatening the tranquility of the kingdom of God, since all the demigods are confidential devotee servitors of the Lord. They are never to be condemned. Under the regulative principles of the Supreme, such mischievous persons are thrown into the darkest region of material existence and are born of asuras or atheists. Birth after birth, such asuras go still further down, finally to animal forms like those of tigers or similar ferocious beasts. Thus, for millions of years, they have to remain in darkness without knowledge of Krishna. What kind of people get this birth? One who blasphemes the Lord is put into a family of asuras, in which there is every chance of forgetting the service of the Lord. Life in demoniac species awaits the Mayavadi philosophers after death, because they are envious of Krishna. When Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana Bhav Mad Bhakto, Machi Mam Namaskar, engage your mind in always thinking of me, offer obeisance and worship me. One demoniac scholar says that it is not to Krishna to whom one must surrender. This scholar is already suffering in this life, and he will have to suffer again in the next life. In this life, he does not complete his prescribed suffering. This is Dr. Radha Krishna. Yeah. One should be very careful not to be envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, this is what Brahmananda said in the beginning when they were at 26 Second Avenue in New York. We didn't have a Gita. There was no Gita. So they used Radha Krishna's Gita. And Srila Prabhupada said, you can read the verses and the translation, but not the purport. And in the purport of Sarvadram Prichikam Mamikam Sramvacham Tvam Sarvapabhyam Ksishya Macha, there Radha Krishna writes, it's not to Krishna that one must surrender, but to the Supreme Brahman within Krishna. that is their demoniac philosophy. Krishna out of the picture. So this is verse 19. So one may say, as like in the Christian religion, that you are a believer or you are not. That if you are not following the Christian faith, then you are a pagan. And you are going to hell for eternally. That's quite heavy. So are we like that here? Krishna throws them into the lower species. Yes, he throws them in the lower species, but it's not eternal. They come up again gradually after many lifetimes in animal bodies, they come again to the human form. It's not eternal. So it's not definite. They get another chance, but it takes many births. That, so now text 20. Text 20. There. 20. Ashrem yonin apana muda janmani mama apapshe vakantia tato yan adhanam gatim. Attaining repeated births among the species of demoniac life, a son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Surely they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. That so Srila Prabhupada writes, it's known that God is all merciful, but here we find that he's never merciful to the demoniac. They go down, so that at least they get the bodies of cats, dogs, and hogs. But the Supreme Lord has no hatred for anyone. The placing of Asuras, the demons in the lowest status, is another feature of his mercy. That, so other ways of giving mercy, sometimes Krishna kills the demons. That also is mercy. It's for their rectification, that they will get another chance later when they get the human form again. But what is the essence here? The lesson for us, that's in text 21. Trividam narakasya dam dvaram nashnam atmana kamakoda tatalabas tasmat ev etatrayam trayat. There are 3 gates to this hell: lust, anger, and greed, and every sane man should give them up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. That because this is the beginning of demoniac life: lust, anger, and greed. That that's text verse. We were at text 20. Yeah, text 20. Yeah, we have some here. Demons eventually take birth among cats, dogs, and hogs, or if fortunate, they may be killed by the Lord. That 21. So one should avoid lust, anger, and greed. 3 gates to hell. That and now Krishna will speak about the Vedas in text 22. 22. Eter vimukta kaunteya tamutvara stribirnara acharat atmana shreyas tatoyati param gatim. The man who has escaped these 3 gates of hell, son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization, and thus Shelly attains the supreme destination. That so one should be very careful of these enemies to human life: lust, anger, and greed. The more a person is freed from lust, anger, and greed, the more his existence becomes pure. So in the Vedic literature, the ways of action and reaction are prescribed to enable one to come to the stage of purification. That the whole method is based on giving up this lust, anger, greed, give that up. So self-realization is perfected in devotional service. In that devotional service, the liberation of the conditioned soul is guaranteed. And therefore, the Vedas prescribes this caste system, the 4 orders of life, and the 4 spiritual ashrams to come out of this lust, anger, and greed, come to goodness by following rules and regulations for the different orders of life and the ashrams. So this is text 22 that is about the Vedas in the purport, and then 23 and 24 will speak about the demoniac do not follow the scriptures, and the devotees always follow the scriptures. And that's the difference, the main difference between the divine and the demoniac. But let's now read 23 first. Yashastra vidim uchricha vartate kamakarata nasa siddhim avapnoti nasa kamna paramgatim. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness, nor the supreme destination. It's 23. So, if one does not follow them and acts whimsically according to his lust, greed, and desire, he will never be perfect in his life, Srila Prabhupada writes. The word kamakarata is very significant. A person who knowingly violates the rules, acts in lust, he knows that this is forbidden, but still he acts. This is called acting whimsically. He knows that this should be done, but still he does not do it. Therefore, it's called whimsical. The human life is especially meant for purifying one's existence. And one who does not follow the rules and regulations cannot purify himself, nor can he attain the real stage of perfection. So this is an important point. The Vedas are designed by the Lord to gradually raise the conditioned souls above the influence of these 3 gates to hell, and turn them turn the conditioned souls finally to devotional service. So one who knowingly acts against the scriptural rules is succumbing to the influence of lust and cannot attain perfection. For one who follows the scriptures but does not become a devotee, all his knowledge and attempts are spoiled. And there is a quote on this, quote 23, that we are not perfect, therefore we have to follow in the footsteps of the perfect man. And it is given in the Shastra, whom you have to follow. We have to understand the Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna understood it. Then you are in the Parampara, and if you understand the Bhagavad Gita as some so-called scholar understands it, then you are not understanding the Bhagavad Gita. That this is the secret. Here we have so many commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, as if Krishna left Bhagavad Gita to be commented by some rascals. Why? He spoke the Bhagavad Gita clearly. Why is it to be interpreted by some rascals? Did Krishna mean that I will leave the Bhagavad Gita ambiguous and some learned scholar will explain it? What is this nonsense? Everything is clear. This is another quote here on 23. Anyone who does not care for the instructions given in the Shastra, anyone who doesn't care for the law of the state, what kind of man is he? He's a loafer, an outlaw. He's not a respectable citizen. Similarly, anyone who does not follow the Shastric injunctions, Shastra is meant for human beings, not for cats, dogs, and hogs, just as the law is meant for human beings, not for cats and dogs. Therefore, we have to follow the Shastric injunctions. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vyasadeva says in the Puranas, in the Vedanta Sutra, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Anada Bhaya Mukha Jiva Krishna Buli Gela Ataiva Krishna Veda Purana Karila. What are these Vedas and Puranas meant for? We have forgotten Krishna, therefore to revive our Krishna consciousness. So many Vedic literature are there. So Shastra Shak Susat. We have to take everything from the Shastra because we are blind now. Shastra Shak Susat. The spiritual master enlightens the disciple with Shastra Gyan. Therefore, he is a spiritual master. If the spiritual master bluffs the disciple, then he is not a spiritual master bluffing. No, Ajnana Timranasya. This is the goal. Goal means he will always enlighten the disciple with the light of the Shastra, not that he will say there is no need of Shastra. I am an incarnation, whatever I say you take it. No, this is rascal. You should immediately understand that he who has no reference to Shastra is rascal number one. This is the conclusion that so now we will read the final verse of this chapter. Tasma Shastram Pavanam Te Karyakara Vyavastita Yatva Shastra Vidanoktam Karma Kartam Idarasi. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such regulations, rules and regulations, one should act that he may gradually be elevated. The Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, as stated in the 15th chapter, all the rules and regulations of the Vedas are meant for knowing Krishna. If one understands Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita and becomes situated in Krishna consciousness, engaging himself in devotional service, he has reached the highest perfection of knowledge offered by the Vedic literature. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this process very easy. He asked people simply to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and to engage in devotional service to the Lord and eat remnants of food offered to the Lord. So one must know what is to be done and what not to be done. And that must be decided by the injunctions of the Vedas. One should act accordingly without argument. Shastra is without the four principal defects. In human society, aversion to the principles of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of fall down. Therefore, Maya, the material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always giving us trouble in the shape of threefold miseries. One has to raise himself at least to the mode of goodness before the path to understanding the Supreme Lord can be opened. One remains in ignorance and passion, which are the cause of demonic life. Those in the mode of passion and ignorance, they write the scriptures, they write the holy men, they write the proper understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They disobey the instruction of the spiritual master, and they do not care for the rules and regulations of the scripture. So we have here the final verse. So one who is directly engaged in devotional service is to be understood as having studied all the Vedic literature and comes to the perfect conclusion. Ordinary persons who are not in Krishna consciousness are advised to follow the Shastras that will elevate them from lust, anger, greed, to the mode of goodness. And when they come to goodness, they may understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this section that we of course we discussed many things. First, the understanding how God is merciful. It throws this demon in the lower species of life, but that is God's mercy. It's for the rectification that so when we discussed also they are put into this hell. So is there really no chance of liberation? Is it eternal hell? No, they will come up again, surely, to the human form of life. So one can also discuss, yes, give up lust. What comes first, give up lust or acting properly? That so yes, that of course it's under the sway of lust that we are not acting properly. That but we can train ourselves in devotional service, and that's proper action, and that will destroy the lust. Then personal applications. That do we apply the Shastra? That do we always think before we do something what does Shastra say? That and preaching application, yes. Yes. Many have the idea spiritual life is spontaneous. You don't have to follow rules and regulations, but no. Krishna says you have to follow the Shastra and all the rules and regulations. That So it brings also up the point, yes. In this modern society, there are many demons, but demoniac mentality is prevalent everywhere. How are we going to preach to them? That not easy. That of course there's also authority. It says is following without argument, but not blind following. In the purport of 434, Tatvina Pranapatna, Srila Prabhupada writes, blind following and absurd inquiry are condemned. So we must understand with our intelligence very clearly that so this is the end of chapter 16. Any questions, please? Discussions? It's whole chapter on the demoniac. No questions, no comments.
Yeah, it was actually very knowledgeable. So we are following through the way you're going through. Today you did a lot of hard job. You read all everything. So that's fine, and explaining everything. Yeah. From my side, no question.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, then we will meet again, if Krishna willing, on Sunday. On Sunday, we will discuss the entire chapter 17 and maybe a part of 18. We will see. Good. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Dandavad.
বলছি তো দুজন আসতেছে